What's up, Steelers Nation? We're back again. Yesterday we had K Dot on the show. Today we had former Steelers tight end Weslye Saunders on the show, and I'm going to be bringing him into the live stream here in a second. It's a very fun episode. I can't wait to release it for everybody and have everyone come out and like, comment, subscribe to the 3 Point Stance YouTube channel, the Steelers Nation channel, Steelers Nation multimedia page. It was a whole lot of fun, and he should be here any second. So y'all get the questions rolling so I can start popping them up for Wes whenever he gets in here. Like I said, it was a great episode. Yeah. So let's get this thing rolling. So I'm sending the invite link to my fellow Steeler Nation. Where's the comments at, guys? Where's the comments at? Come on. Where are they at? What's up, Special K? I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know what I've been called that before, and that was on my first deployment in Afghanistan. My old supervisor and one of my best friends. But what's up, Brian? You're one of our favorite people to have on here, commenting, liking, and you're very fun to interact with. Let's see. Yeah, it is. I've gone by Special K, K Bear, all of it. If there's a name for it, somebody has figured it out. So we are still waiting on Wes. Was just with him. Great guy. He's doing great things for people's health now. He hasn't officially retired, so maybe the Steelers are in his future again, possibly. What am I doing? Well, like I said, while we wait for Wes to come in and join, let's get these questions rolling in. Let's talk some Steelers football. There's more OTAs going on today. Oh, look who we got here, guys. We got Big Wes.
Whoa, we back in the game, baby.
Big Wes is here.
Yes. What's happening?
Hey, we're just waiting for these questions to roll in from the fans that are tuning in on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We got nothing for you so far, but now that you're on the live stream, we should start getting some questions rolling in for you.
It's all good, man. They'll be here. They'll be here. The clock is the clock is ticking, but we here, baby. Now, Kaleb, shoot, I'm gonna ask you a question, man. What you eat for breakfast this morning?
What did I have? I think what was it? It was either so my days are all kind of a blur right now. So I had a Jimmy Dean's breakfast sandwich, and that was either this morning or yesterday morning.
One of those days, huh?
Yeah, because we just had our third baby 2 weeks ago.
Okay, congrats, man. Yeah, congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, it's she sleeps all day and is awake all night.
I remember those days, man. Survival of the fittest.
Yeah. Let's see. Somebody has a question for you. It is Miles. He wants to know your predictions for Calvin Austin this year. And if you aren't familiar with Calvin Austin, he was drafted last year in third, fourth round. Was out all year with a foot injury. He's back. He's a speedy, shifty guy. 4.3 speed, track speed. He's a guy.
Oh yeah, Calvin. I remember seeing him, man. Like, hopefully, those injuries, you never really know. Coming back from those injuries, I'll say I broke my foot twice, and there were some concerns even on my end if I would be the same player that I was before I broke my foot. So, if he's got the confidence that he can come back and be that stud that we know he is, then I see him having a big season, being one of those guys that can bust a game wide open if you let him. But that's going to depend on his mindset and, of course, his healing.
Yeah, and I mean he's got that game-breaking speed like one of your former teammates had, and Mike Wallace.
Oh yeah. Mike's one of the fastest guys I ever seen in person. But I definitely remember Bruce Arians telling Ben just throw it as far as you can. He'll go up under and get it. So
yeah,
it's great to have a guy like that on the team.
Yeah, I mean that was for sure. I mean, I think that should have been the going meme around. He's like, hey, Mike Wallace down there somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. And it didn't even look like he was running as fast as he was, but he was moving.
Yeah. It was just so smooth. He was so smooth of a runner. He was like. And it didn't even look like he was running that fast, but he was just moving.
He was out of there.
We got a few more questions rolling in. This one really isn't a question. This is from our guy, Brian Davis. He wanted to let you know he follows you on Facebook. He loves your style, man. Always fresh.
Brian, I appreciate that, brother. Hey, that means a lot. When people compliment me on my style, that means I'm doing something right, because I do like to take pride that I have a personality outside of football. For a long time, my personality and who I was wrapped up in the sports, and then I had to start finding myself. And one of those ways is fashion. I like wearing bright colors. I like expressing myself through fashion. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Brian.
And then off of that, we got Miles again. He has a few questions coming up, but He says, hi, Weslye. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you, Miles. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, pleasure to talk to all you guys. And for anybody who doesn't know, it's not a typo you see on the screen. My name is actually spelled Weslye. I don't think I've ever seen anybody in history spell it that way. I've always taken pride in being a little different than everyone.
Hey, I feel that too. Kaleb's, you typically see that with the C. So people are constantly spell it with the C. I think I've seen it spelled with 2 A's before. It's different, but unique names for unique individuals, right?
That's how it goes. You got to be righteous and stand up for yourself.
Yes.
Sometimes I know people who will just let it go. You spelled it wrong. Who cares? Yeah. My mom made sure to let me know to let the substitute teacher know how to spell my name. No, I didn't spell my own name wrong.
He did follow that up. He said, "My bad, goat."
Oh no, it's all good, man. But it's a nice segue for me to let everybody else know. That's why sometimes I just go by Wes. Wes is a lot easier, but I know no harm, no foul.
And then
appreciate you, Miles.
We'll follow up that with Miles' 2 other questions. And this is something we kind of touched on in the episode. We talked about that tight end room that you were in. He said, Weslye, how was it to be in that Steelers tight end room? What were the day-to-day interactions like?
Well, the Steelers tight end room was it depends on what day it was, all right? Because obviously we had a guy like Heath Miller. Heath is not a big talker, right? He's very quiet, mild-mannered. We had my guy DJ. DJ was there, so for a while it was just us 3 and Jamie McCoy, who was on practice squad. And so if we're winning, the room is great. But if we're struggling, or maybe coach is a little pissed off, then it can be very tense. And I know people in the Steelers Nation are familiar with James Daniel, the former tight end coach. He was tough as a rattlesnake, and so he. For a rookie like myself, it took me a while to not be intimidated by him. I had to understand that he was an older gentleman. If you know about older black men in America, sometimes the way they show love is by being super tough on you. maybe never even crack a smile. Some of the times he was joking, he didn't even crack a smile. So it made me tougher. I grew up a lot quicker being in that tight end room and learning how to accept criticism without taking it personally. I think a lot of people, even in a corporate workspace, social media, people can't take criticism now. And I see that affecting a lot of young players, a lot of young professionals. But you got to really learn how to take criticism. And I think I was in the best place to do that.
Yeah, there's one thing, Mike T doesn't openly, criticize or anything like that, but he will do it behind closed doors. And we're not going to air it out on the live stream because we're going to wait for everybody to tune in on a moment that Wes had the day before he scored his first touchdown in the NFL in a specific team meeting before the game Saturday night on the motivation he used for Wes that game.
Classic Tomlin, classic Coach T.
And then, Miles.
Great question, Miles. Keep them coming, man.
Yeah, he's got he's got a few great questions, and he is commenting away. So this next one is: during practices, which Steelers defender gave you the most issues?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say during practice, man, me and Lawrence Timmons, we went at it quite a bit. From
Law Dog.
Yeah, Law Dog was he was a beast. I don't think people understand how athletic he was and how strong he was as a player. So for instance, I consider myself to be super athletic, right? I could handle, James Harrison, I kind of knew what he was coming with, and Lamar Woodley and James Ferrier. I could fare against those guys pretty well, but a guy like Lawrence Timmons, who had just as much quickness and speed as I did, and could pack a punch with his power, he was the guy where I kind of had to sharpen my skills a little bit. But like Coach Tomlin says, iron sharpens iron. This was the first time where I was going against somebody, especially from a linebacker standpoint, who possessed just as much athletic ability as I, and that made me so much better. Not taking anything away from those other guys. That linebacker room was stacked, but from just a pure athletic standpoint, Lawrence Timmons probably gave me the most issues on defense.
And yeah, I think Lawrence Timmons, like NFL, like not amongst Steelers fans, he's not underrated, but amongst like NFL history wise, I think he's an extremely underrated. I mean, he was solid, always there, always making the right play. I mean, he was Tomlin's first draft pick as a head coach, and he showed why.
Yep.
And then we got another question here. So I'll answer the first part of this question just so everybody knows. Our guy Wes he's still not done playing. He wants to make it back into the league. Somebody just needs to give our guy a call.
I just need a workout. That's it. But go ahead. I see you, Brian.
But yeah, so when the time ultimately does come, have you ever considered coaching?
No. I'm okay not being a coach. I like using my wisdom sparingly, but being immersed into the game, not as a player, is not something that really has ever tickled my fancy. I love the game. I love being around the game. I love playing the game, but being a coach requires a different kind of patience. And I would see the time schedule that these coaches spend behind the scenes, man. They're there a lot longer than the players. I'm cool with, doing my job and getting the workout in afterwards, hitting the cold tub and going home. But, long after we're gone, the coaches are still there. And that requires another kind of dedication and commitment that I don't know if I'm, willing to give up. So, I appreciate you, Brian. I thank you for complimenting my personality, but I think my next step will probably be on screen, in the movies or doing something to utilize it in that fashion. So.
Yeah, that was a great question and a great answer. We're going back to Miles. He's got another great question here. What was your welcome to the NFL moment?
Oh man, that was a great one. Welcome to the NFL moment. Our first Sunday night football game. This was like week 4 of my rookie year, and we played at Indianapolis. Yeah, we were playing at Indianapolis, and Coach Arians had drawn up a play for me that week to get me more involved in the offense, and he named it Cocky, right? Because I went to the University of South Carolina Gamecocks, so the play was going to be it was my play, right? The play was going nobody else but me, and we had practiced this play all week. I was going to be coming out of the backfield, on a mismatch with a linebacker, and Ben was going to hit me, and in my head, I was going to take it to the house and score because it was a red zone play, and it had the potential to, and it was something they hadn't seen yet because defenses weren't looking out for me. Well, this is me in practice these first few weeks of the season really nulled my brain into thinking that practice was going to be like the game, and I didn't understand that there's just a hair quicker that things happen in the game than in practice. So long story short, we run this play, Sunday night football. I'm excited about the play. I run my route the way it's supposed to be run. I turn around for the ball, thinking it was going to be there when I thought it would be there, and it was there about a half a second early, and bam, hits me dead in the face, and the ball bounces about 10 feet into the air, almost gets intercepted, but I finally corral it and catch it for a 1-yard gain. For people to see me get hit in the face with the ball on Sunday Night Football, and the coaches are kind of looking at me. Everybody's shaking their head, and it's kind of like a bad moment because this play that could have been potentially huge for us, I messed up because I didn't understand that the NFL was, the game was going to be a lot quicker than practice. So that was my welcome to the NFL moment. I was embarrassed. I wanted to sink into a hole and just go away because I know my family had seen it, everybody had seen it, but that was probably one of the best things that could have happened for me early on in the season because I had to understand the timing of the NFL. And when they talk about the game being super fast, it was fast. And I think my mind didn't register how quick things would happen during the game. So, that was my moment. We laughed about it. We ended up winning that game. So, it didn't cost us too bad. And we actually ended up running the same play almost 10 weeks later in Cincinnati. And I catch it out of the backfield for a first down, and we end up winning the game at Cincinnati because of that first down. So, that was a great full circle moment right there.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's that catch you're talking about against the Colts. That's that one that's like if you Google your name, that's one of the first pictures popping up where you're.
It looks beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful, picturesque shot. But people don't know what happened right before that shot is, a total debacle.
Yeah, and what's even better to hear is that we ran that, like you said, 10 weeks later against Cincinnati and, helped us win that game because, we love beating them Cincinnati Bengals over there.
Oh, it was so sweet. Yeah, it was so sweet. And I was, and that was a moment where I remember looking at Ben and he giving me that look like, okay, now, good job, And even before the play, we had called a timeout and coach and BA kind of gave me that look like, hey, all right, we're going to you, young guy. You remember what happened last time? Don't mess this up.
Yeah.
And of course, this time my blinkers were on. They ended up running a blitz off the edge, so I actually had to look a little quicker. So Ben hits me with a dart coming out of the backfield. They had me lined up as a fullback at the time, and I made a couple guys miss, and we scored we made a first down and ran out the clock after that.
We love to see that. Love it. We love it. We love it. We got more great questions rolling in. We got our guy Marcos, good follower of our podcast and Steeler Nation. He says, "What's going on, Wesley? Quick question. Do you still have the ball from your touchdown at Arrowhead against the Chiefs?"
Marcos, what's up, my man? Yes, absolutely. I still have that football. It It's actually at my mom's house in Durham, North Carolina. That my mom has some of the memorabilia. Pop's got a couple jerseys, so yeah, we still have that the touchdown against the Chiefs. That's a memorable one. I don't think I'll ever let that one go.
Always got to keep that first touchdown, and
Gotta
it's
keep it. Shout out to my man Ramon Foster too, man. I was so excited after catching that touchdown that I popped up and threw the ball behind me and was about to celebrate. And he was like, "Hey man, go get your ball. It's your first touchdown. You gotta go get the ball." And of course, the play was under review at the time, so it was a whole big thing. So I had to go looking for the ball, but we ended up getting it back.
Yeah, that was that toe tap in the back of the end zone that we talked about on our episode.
Yeah.
There's a great story behind that touchdown. I can't wait for you guys to hear it on the show. Let's see. Miles back with another great question that touches Steelers fans' hearts. In your opinion, was the Jesse James catch a catch?
Yeah. Well, hey, look. Of course, I'm biased, so in my opinion, of course, it's a catch. But to allude to obviously the question before, my touchdown against Kansas City, I remember Coach Tomlin directly pointing out in the meeting that next week what could have happened had I not retained possession of the ball upon hitting the ground, right? And so I remember thinking when I hit the ground, like, hey, don't drop this thing. I'm gonna catch it. I'm gonna let everybody know that I caught it because I don't ever want to leave any room for speculation. So, in my opinion, it was definitely a catch. But also, I know how important that ball is. I'm not letting it go until everybody sees that I have secured the catch, and then I let it go. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, it's weird that it was ruled not a catch against that certain team, that seemed to get everything that went their way. But
it happens.
We got another great question from Robert Cotting. Hopefully I said your last name right. What was your favorite player or who was your favorite player growing up?
What's up, Robert? I appreciate the question, man. I actually had a few favorites. At the quarterback position, I was Brett Favre all day. Brett was my guy. I also love Deion Sanders. Deion just being so versatile. That was someone I looked up to. But just from a grit standpoint, Mike Allstott from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mike, I was a big kid growing up. All the football coaches wanted to put me on the offensive line or, put me somewhere where I couldn't display. I felt I was an athlete too. I wasn't just big. And Mike was one of those guys who showed me what it could be to have the ball on offense and punish the defense every single play. And so that was really exciting to me to see that from a fullback and somebody who was big. So I would probably say Mike Allstott. Between Mike Allstott and John Mackey.
John Mack, the Hall of Fame tight end, correct?
Hall of Fame tight end. Now, of course, he was finished playing long before I was even born, but my father would show me these old videos and tapes of him, NFL films. And, of course, there's that one magical play where he breaks like 9 or 10 tackles to score the touchdown. And I just remember thinking that was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen in my life. And I wanted to do that. Like, hey, 10 guys coming to tackle me, I want to break all of them. And so it's pretty inspirational.
Yeah, so let me follow up on Robert's question. What tight end did you try and mold your game after?
Oh yeah, so I guess that would be the answer right there. Definitely John Mackey. Because I don't know if you remember. I was born in '89, so growing up in the '90s, the tight end position wasn't super glamorized, right? You had a Shannon Sharp. You may have another couple guys, but it wasn't like the folk. Tony Gonzalez. But you didn't have a guy that was just a game breaker, and they ran the offense through the tight end. So I definitely look to a lot of older players, John Mackey being one of them. But I like guys like Kellen Winslow Jr. Seeing him at the University of Miami, Jeremy Shockey. Some of these guys show what you could be. Showing the versatility at the tight end position.
Yeah. Yeah, love hearing that. We got another question from Brian Davis. I think we're probably going to know the answer to this because we know what time frame you played with the Steelers. But who was the hardest hitter that you played against?
Against or with? Because, you know, obviously I played with some hard hitters, obviously Debo, James Harrison, you know, these guys, Ryan Clark, you know, you got some guys who could bring the thunder. But the hardest hitter that I played against, I probably, people don't understand this, man. Carlos Dansby, the linebacker, is one of the most complete linebackers I played against, and one of the most solid. He is country strong and brings the thunder every time he hits. So I would put Carlos Dansby up in my top three, definitely, for sure. Aside from that, man, I can't really think of, you know, anybody else who really gave me a jolt that made me think, man, this guy hits pretty hard, you know. But Carlos was one of those guys who sticks out immediately when I think about, you know, some hard-hitting players.
And Carlos is a long-time NFL player. I know he played a lot of seasons for the Arizona Cardinals. Solid middle linebacker out there.
Very, very solid, you know. And shout out to Carlos, man. We still keep in contact on Instagram, man. And you know, it's pretty funny when you hear some of these marquee names in the league. You know, your Brian Urlachers and your Ray Lewis's, and his stat line is right there with these guys. Like he's top 5, you know, interceptions. I'm talking about sacks, touchdown returns. So his numbers are right there. Total tackles. So hopefully, you know, he'll get the nod. He's already been elected into the Alabama Hall of Fame, and so hopefully, you know, the NFL will follow suit soon.
Yeah, that's again, great player, did great things for Arizona. We got Matt Wadowski with another great question. Who's the coach that influenced you the most?
Right on, Matt. A great question, man. I'm definitely, you know, I'm not even making this up, man. But James Daniel, the tight end coach for the Steelers, was one of my biggest influences when it comes to football. You know, me getting to the league, I know a lot of guys' careers who've been ruined by certain coaches, right? You come in and the coach maybe doesn't understand the player, or coach has ulterior motives, or maybe you're getting a different tight end coach every year, right? Which can be the case. A guy like James Daniels solidified into the Steelers organization, but also tough as nails. And for a young hardhead, knucklehead like myself, I needed that. And he was the guy. I remember him distinctly telling us in training camp when I almost got cut, because I think we and you talked about this before, Kaleb, how before I got to the Steelers, I had just missed a whole year at South Carolina. My senior year, I missed that because of the NCAA money investigation. And then I ended up breaking my foot that following offseason as I'm headed into the NFL draft. So I came to the Steelers having almost not played football for almost 2 years, right? So, you know, considering what I had just missed. And my first preseason game against the Redskins after the NFL lockout, I played terribly. We went up to Washington, and I stunk it up. And I remember Bruce Aaron. I honestly thought they were going to cut me after that one bad game. But James Daniel pulled me to the side, and he let me know, like, hey, you know, you need to do what we brought you here to do. And he told me, if you got 2 guns, you better shoot them both. And I know exactly what he meant by that. Just, hey, everything that you have, all it takes is all you got. And so instead of me trying to be so careful and worrying about my injuries and all of that stuff, just go out there and play the game like I know how to play fast, play loose. And that's ultimately, I ended up having a great rest of the preseason, and made the team as the only undrafted player to make the team that year. So, you know, he was one of the guys that really helped me get over that hump.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, we did go pretty in depth in that conversation on the recording. So again, I can't wait for you guys to see what we were able to create for Steeler Nation and 3 Point Stance podcast.
Oh yeah.
Matt has another good question here. I think we're all dying to know what you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to finish in the AFC North.
First, next question.
Short and sweet. There we go. I like it. Let me read through these questions.
Give me some good ones. Give me some hard hit ones.
This one's a good question. Let's see. Let's see how you feel about it. He's referring to kind of like was there a certain guy that you played with or against that you felt was very, very overrated? They had like that 90 on Madden, but you felt like they should have been like a 70 overall.
Hey, Brian, that's a great question, man. Honestly, and I'm speaking just from a football standpoint. What I talk about, I don't have any hatred or anger towards anyone, but I do like to keep it real. And when I got to Indianapolis, I realized there were a lot more politics involved in certain organizations and certain teams than with others, right? I didn't realize what I had in Pittsburgh until I left. And I got to Pittsburgh, and I was head and shoulders better than anybody in the tight end room, but I was third on the depth chart behind Kobe Fleener and Dwayne Allen. And it just was a glaring observation that I didn't really think Kobe really liked football too much, right? There was all this praise about him coming from Stanford with Andrew Luck, and he had the measurables and all of this stuff. And when I got there, what I heard didn't match up to what I saw. And so, as a young player, I think I could have handled my frustrations better about not being seen as more of an asset on offense, when it was quite obvious who the superior players were. But yeah, definitely when Kobe would be one of those guys who was, it was a lot of hype behind him, but I didn't see the productivity that warranted that hype. So, that was a lesson I had to learn. Sometimes you can go into a corporation, a business, or a place of work, and you feel like you're better than the next man up. But sometimes you got to wait your turn, or sometimes there's politics at play. And so, of course, the big thing in the NFL is money. If they got money invested into a player or a person, it doesn't matter if they stink. It doesn't matter if they don't want to play at all. Most of the time, they're going to put those people on the field.
Yeah, and I mean, you said it's different going to other teams, going from Pittsburgh to another. Like you're not the only former Steelers player who's gone on to another team to say that. Yeah. They all say the grass isn't always greener, and then that's why you see all these Steelers players eventually making their way back, and hopefully that can be in your future, coming back and being a Steeler again.
Hey, look, hey, man, listen, when I tell people all the time, there's no doubt in my mind that I would be a household name in the Pittsburgh community had I done the right thing. People don't, obviously I got suspended for banned substances, Adderall, my first year, that first season in Pittsburgh. I tested positive for Adderall, and that's what ultimately led to my dismissal the next season after that suspension. But had I done what I was supposed to do, I think, things could have been a lot different in Pittsburgh. Who knows? My friendship with Antonio and, the guys I was getting close with, us building that nucleus for the people who were around then. Y'all remember Young Money, what consisted of me and Mike Wallace, Antonio Brown, and Emmanuel Saunders. It would have been fun to see that young group come together and see what we can do there. But, it's one of those lessons you have to learn. And fortunately, I love the Steelers because they care about winning. All right. And it doesn't matter where you came from, doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what your name is. They want to win, and they're willing to put anybody on the field who can help them do that in the right way.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, I can't really follow that up with anything. That was great. We got Brian's kind of shouting you out right here. He said, you and Ryan Clark were the best of fans at Steelers camp. You guys always stayed out long after everyone else and sighed for the kids. Top notch.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate that, Brian. Yeah, Ryan was one of my frat brother and one of the guys that first took me in on the Steelers. And when I say took me in, I mean he was one of the first guys to openly make fun of me and the way I dressed, which I didn't understand was a way of, those guys showing camaraderie and showing that they liked you. But, Ryan he lived about 4 or 5 houses up from me, and he and his family were so gracious, inviting me to Thanksgiving dinner and just being kind understanding I didn't have any family up there. So, RC is one of those guys I'll forever love, man, and showed me how to be a professional, right? Taking care of my body, being kind to the fans, signing an extra, all of those things. So, I definitely learned a lot from RC.
Yeah, that's and RC's been taking off with his media career field now. He's got the Pivot podcast. He's on ESPN daily, calling out everybody left and right. He's doing big things. We love our hard hitters in Pittsburgh, and man, he's one of those guys, top of the line when it comes to that. We got another good question here. This is a Kenny Pickett question. Do you think Kenny can lead this team into the future, ultimately a Super Bowl?
Yeah. All right, look, man, I got full faith in Kenny. All right, and that's not just because I like him in the black and gold, but obviously it doesn't take long to see a player play to understand how they can grow and how they look at themselves, right? So once he looks at himself critically, I think he started to fix some of the issues that he dealt with early on. He started to be more assertive and intentional. And by the end of the season, you could definitely see that it was his team. And so we put a lot of pressure on this kid, but no more pressure than I think he's put on himself. And I think that's the most important thing, is that he pressures himself into being great. I think you mentioned on the other show, Kaleb, about not wanting to compare him to TB12, but the similarities are there in how he approaches the game. So I definitely see Kenny being able to lead this team to a championship.
Multiple champions. It's going to be multiple.
Yep.
Let's see. We got another good question here. Your top 5 tight ends of all time.
Oh man, put me on the spot there, Miles. Shoot. Well, number one, just because we're talking about my favorites, John Mackey. He's one of the reasons why I wore number 88. He was a huge proponent for players' rights, right? And making sure that players had a say-so in certain dealings that were going on. Who else besides John? I like Antonio Gates. Antonio was a beast catching that thing, man. I definitely want to say maybe Tony Gonzalez. Tony was a monster at the tight end position. So what we got 3 right there, man. Who was another tight end that I just say I can't live without having them on my list. Shucks, I'm drawing a blank right now. I like Jason Witten. I like Witten. Witten was very good.
There's a certain guy you played with in Pittsburgh that you could throw in on that list.
Hey, look, I could throw Heath in there, but I would have Heath as one of my top 5 favorite humans of all time. Heath was just such a nice guy that to limit him as just a tight end, like he's probably one of my top 5 teammates, top 5 motivators on the team. Top 5 kindest guys. So. Heath will definitely be on the list too, but yeah. So let's round out the top 5 with Heath. Let's do
that. So we'll. I know your wife's about to get home, so we'll let you get to 2 more questions, and then
she actually just got back. She just walked in, so she's waiting on me.
All right, so we'll hit 2 more questions. And then, we'll let you go and, get on with your day, and we'll let you talk about, the West Juice for everybody before we let you go as well. So, the next question is, what young Steelers player do you think currently has the highest potential?
Man, that's a great question. Now, of course, we could say, Kenny Pickett would be, one of the obvious answers, but I like Pickens. I really like the receiver, man. He's got some toughness and some attributes that you can win with, right? You love it. You love it when your star receiver believes in himself that much and is fearless. He's got those fearless qualities that can, it's not just about who can make the big plays at any time, but who can make the big plays at the right time. And so when you're looking at, player like Kenny Pickett throwing to a Pickens and when it's crunch time, when we really need it the most, who can you go to? You know, and that's kind of what he reminds me of. So I'm excited to see how he fares another season in, another with some more confidence and, of course, more playing exposure.
Yeah, now talking about Kenny Pickett, I'll send us off with this last question. Are you aware of Ben's podcast, Footballin'?
I've heard of it. Yeah, I haven't caught any episodes, but I've heard of it.
Did you happen to see social media? I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago now, where Ben like openly told, because everybody knows Ben is a brutally honest individual. He's going to say what's on his mind, and it's a great tribute to have, or attribute to have. Excuse me. What are your thoughts? I don't know if you're aware of what he said to Kenny and like how he wasn't really rooting for him in the beginning when he came out because he didn't want to see, the guy they drafted to replace him, immediately like take over his spot. Yeah, yeah, exactly. What were your thoughts on Ben's reaction to that?
Well, Ben is a good guy, and I don't know how much he meant by that statement. Other than it maybe being clickbait. Obviously, if he wants more people to watch his show, then he'll say something like that. Because I know he cares so much about the organization that I don't really know if he meant that 100%. There might be some small part of him that is kind of hoping that Kenny doesn't do as well as expected, so he can still look good. But I think who Ben is as a person overrides that. I think he was just giving something for the fans to talk about and maybe tug at Kenny a little bit. Maybe it's a little bit of hidden motivation. Who knows?
And like you got to give Ben credit too. He didn't say it with Kenny not there. He didn't like text to Kenny. He had him right next to him and said, "Hey man, I was wrong. This is how I felt. You're the guy. You're going to lead us to many Super Bowls." I mean, it was crazy to see, Ben's been, in the news for stuff like that before. He's very open, honest person. But that great answer. And before we let you go, we'll have you kind of introduce everybody to Wes Juice.
All right, Kaleb, appreciate you, man. Thank you for all the wonderful questions too, people. Especially you guys who stuck around for the show. We've been on about 45 minutes now. So when it comes to your health and wellness, you got to get some good stuff in you. If you're sitting in front of the computer all day, if you're working out, if you just want some more energy, man, go to Weslye.com, WESLYE.com, and get my all-natural superfood blend, West Juice. 14 superfood ingredients, probiotics from the company NP Nutra out of Southern California. We really invested a lot of time and energy into this mix. It helps clear brain fog, clean out the gut, give you more energy, 100% plant-based as well, man, because I know a lot of my football season's coming up. It's going to be a lot of hot dogs, hamburgers, pizza, grilling out, beer, all that good stuff. And I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying get you something that can balance it out. Yeah, it's okay. It's all good. We're going to get you a bag of this, baby. I like to call West Juice the great equalizer. It's going to help you get rid of all those mistakes you made the night before. So, I encourage everybody to implement some form of a healthy routine, and hopefully you can use West Juice to help out with that, man. So, I got it's great for all ages. I got both of my kids on it. I got my grandparents on it. Got my parents on it. So this is something great for you to implement into your daily health routine. So West Juice, baby.
Again, yes. Everybody get into that West Juice. I'm definitely going to have to partake in that because I am also trying to lose some weight. I need to lose about 20, 25 pounds on my frame as well. Okay. But, it was great to hear from you. I cannot wait to do more of these. For those of you in the comments, I see you guys wanting him back. It's already in the works. We're already planning on future episodes, everything like that. Hopefully get some in-season reactions from Wes, and just to get excited to see where West Juice takes him and, his life journey goes.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, Kaleb, man. Like you said, I'm still not done playing, so maybe the next time we talk, I'll be in somebody's training camp reporting live after practice, man. Hopefully, maybe Latrobe, but
Yeah.
If not, somewhere.
Yeah, that that would be awesome. We wish nothing but the best for you. We hope that call comes and you get that second chance in the NFL. I know you said your body's at top peak, and that's a lot to do with West Juice.
Yeah, there you go, man. Health is wealth and not much else, man. I appreciate you having me on, Kaleb. And good night to everybody out there, all my Steeler Nation people, man. I love y'all. It's always been nothing but love and support. And, I look forward to coming back on the show, brother. Thank you again.
Appreciate you. You have a good night.
All right, man. You too. Catch y'all later.
Yep. All right, everybody. What do you guys think of Big Wes on the show? Let's see if there's any questions that I missed that I can answer for anybody. Yeah, Matt. Yeah, Kenny can hang with Tom Brady. I agree. He's going to win more Super Bowls than Brady without the the scandals. Let's see. Weslye, yeah, I loved having him on. He was very in depth. It was good to have him. Great to get those experiences from former Steelers and hopefully maybe a Steeler again in the future. Yeah, it's great to get that in-depth analysis. Robert, great question. Our guy D, he ran into some last-minute USFL stuff, so he was unable to be here with us today. I know he sends his blessings and his regards. Who knows? Maybe he will hop in on the live stream here shortly. I don't know how long he's going to be with his USFL stuff. So, but yes, he is wrapped up with his Birmingham Stallions currently. See, I agree, Brian. I've reached out. I'm constantly on Instagram, Twitter. I'm in all these guys' DMs as far as Shazier, Santonio Holmes. Santonio's a big one that I would like to get on the show. But they got to open up those DMs. Whenever they don't follow you and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to because they get the message request and they got to click on the message request. It's a whole process, and it's like we had Kevin Dotson on yesterday, and that show will be released at a to be determined time and date. But man, that was a great episode. I think Kevin had about a year's worth of DMs from me to get on the show, and then randomly out of the blue 3 or 4 days ago, he said, "Yeah, I'll come on." And man, K Dot was great to have on. Big fan of his, always has been, or always have been. Obviously, Brian, Ohio State fan. I loved the pick of Santonio. I remember we traded back into the first round to go get him, or did we trade down? Maybe we traded down or we traded up. I think we traded up for him. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, exactly. We're so excited for this episode to be released. He had a lot of great things to say. Man, yeah, he's a great person, and hopefully his career pans out where he's a Steeler for life. But there's the business side of it. Look at my wife's coming around. Go Steelers. She's from Missouri, so every once in a while during a game, she'd be like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna root for the Chiefs." And I mean, come on, dear. Wait, hold on. Let me get this camera right. There we go. There you go, dear. You know it. Let's see. Let's scroll through some of these comments. See if I missed anything. And keep the questions rolling in. I got about another 10 minutes for you guys, and then I will be hopping off myself. It is dinner time. We are on a health kick over here now, so we're hoping to get both of us
slimming down a little bit, especially myself. Mm-hmm. 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 Got another comment. What was your favorite Steelers interview? Can you elaborate on that a little bit, Robert? Like, are you talking about like Steelers, like former or current Steeler players I've interviewed? Because fun fact, Kevin Dotson was the first active player for the Steelers that I've had the chance to have on and interview. But I mean, there's a good list, you know. I had D on my show back in the day, and then that's when we created the now 3 Point Stance podcast with Steeler Nation. DeMarcus Ayers, I had him on for a show. He was great to have. He gives such great answers. Fun guy to talk to. Now he's a coach at North Texas. That, like I said, we just had Weslye Saunders. We had Kevin Dotson. I had Madre Harper as well. He's a Steelers player, but sadly that episode was never able to air. But I did have a great 40-minute conversation with him off the record, and great guy, rooting for him, big, solid corner. Yeah, it's if I had to say, I would have to say for me, I would go K Dot. That was awesome to have and get kind of those up to date details with, you know, that Steelers locker room right now and where they're at. I would definitely say K Dot has been my favorite so far. Brian Stryker did not get cut. He, you know, like many of us, you know, we have ever going lives, everything like that. But no, he is well a part of Steeler Nation. Yeah, so he's still around. I go to him for advice all the time on as far as StreamYard goes, which is what we use for these live streams and everything like that. He's a big help, and I'm glad to have him in my corner. I made mushroom ravioli with 4 cheese sauce. What do you guys have? We are having some sort of salmon bites with some sides. That is how it was described to me. If my wife's still in here, she could probably comment and tell me. Awesome. Yeah, Stryker, he's got a beard. And right now, yeah, I'm in the military, but I got 3 months of baby leave, so we'll see if mine can you know, match Stryker's. I doubt it. But you know, we'll see. But yeah, great. Stryker's a great human being. Love him to death. Let's keep the questions rolling, though. These were great questions. Good questions so far. Let's keep them coming. I sent D a message, see if he's available for a minute. We'll see. Why do you want to cut? Why do you want to cut? Yeah, you know. Now we're getting to the personal questions. I like it. I need to be about 190. I'm at like 215 right now. I guess it's kind of a few years past due, but can't necessarily blame COVID for it anymore. But yeah, just get a healthier lifestyle. Get back to who I know I was as a individual, weight wise, in shape wise, and you know, try and get some energy back. And you know, maybe try out this West juice and see if that does some work for myself and go from there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, we got another comment, and it's and that's another thing is like that's what I've always been told from the guys I've worked with. They're like, oh yeah, you need to work out more because since I stopped playing football and I guess since my last deployment, the weight room and I just haven't gotten along. So yeah, that's definitely something that I strive for. So I want to cut the fat, and I do want to bulk up weight wise. But what are some? Let's kind of we're talking about me and my weight loss. Hopefully, Oh, look at this! We got our guy, JT, the chosen one. That's my guy, Josh. He's a streamer. If you guys don't follow him, I believe it's the Kick streaming app. Go to JT, the chosen one. If you guys like Call of Duty, Fortnite, him and I are always playing Fortnite, catching those dubs with my 7-year-old son. I think the other day we caught 3 in a row. Yeah, Josh is that guy. He is that guy. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Let's see. While we wait for some new comments, we will go back and see if there's any comments that I can answer. I can kind of answer this for Wes. He was in the AAF, the Birmingham Barons. I can't remember what year that was, but yes, he was in the AAF, the American Alliance Football, I believe it was. Brian, I appreciate it. I think show's taking off. I always share it. So much information, but just love talking black and gold. Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole reason why I wanted to start it, because I typically, I still call my dad every day and we'll go on like 30-minute, hour-long rants on today's Steeler news. And like I said, Kevin Adams, who's the host of the Steel Here podcast, who's just hit the front page of ESPN and like Fox Sports and everything like that with his Le'Veon Bell interview, which was amazing. But he was a big inspiration for me. I saw what he was able to do with his tailgate, and now it's led to further things. And yeah, love that guy to death. He's great person. But yeah, I just love talking Steelers football. It's as you can tell, I don't know if you can tell based off the room color and everything like that, that big Steelers fan. Big Steelers fan. Let's see. Matt, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's my goal at the end of the day. I want to give you guys good shows and good content for you guys to, want to watch. Like I said, our last episode hit 5.5K views. So we're hoping to, continue that trend and, go above and beyond that. And, yeah, like I said, I know Derwin loves it. I love it. We try and give you the most up-to-date information we can get, and we try and get the best people on the show for you that reach out back to us. Yeah, so, and we got some big plans in the future for the 3 Point Stance podcast, and hopefully I won't share who the individual is, but hopefully when they come on, I can also have them come on to the live stream and kind of take some fan questions as well. I'm super excited for that episode, and hopefully it all pans out and works out with their busy schedule. Yeah, I have heard about that. That's so weird to me. I mean, they put in a clause or whatever, so if he can't play, then I mean, I guess they cut bait, but it's just it's weird. Um, Jimmy G, yeah, that's weird. Um, yeah, Matt. Yeah, that's my mindset behind it, and that's why I said we're trying to get the best people on the show for us. What about Johnson restricted? Did I miss that? Did Deontay Johnson restructure? I have yet to see that, and as my wife can attest, I am consistently on my phone checking for any and all Steelers news. Yes, I really hope that happens. I hope we are looking at getting Isaiah Simmons. I actually um, am trying to start a Twitter trend and hashtag Isaiah to Pittsburgh because they're just abandoning house over there, and um, Isaiah Simmons would be a great guy to have. Once 20. Let's see. Let's see. I'm checking through Twitter, Matt. I don't know how let me see. Deontay Johnson. Yeah, I have yet to see anything as far as those restructures have gone. But there will be restructures happening whenever they do want to bring in a guy. I do know we have Alex Highsmith contract coming up, so there's that aspect they got to play with. But yeah, I mean Isaiah Simmons would be amazing to have. I think he's 6'4", runs a 4.3. That's he'd be a great addition. I welcome it. Welcome Isaiah Simmons to Pittsburgh, and hopefully that does happen. Yep, Trubisky. The rumors are now that he was either extending and reducing his contract numbers, or he was going to get released. And I think it speaks volumes to his character and how he feels about Pittsburgh and the direction we're going. Love having him in that room with Kenny because I do think Mitch is a top backup in the league. I think he can be a great person for Kenny to fall back on when things don't go well or things are going well, and he has that veteran. I mean, him and Mason to bounce ideas off of, and everything like that. And we kind of get into that with the Kevin Dotson episode. We talked about Mitch, we talked about Mason and Mason's work ethic. Again, that Kevin Dotson episode is going to be a great episode. I hope you guys are all able to tune in and watch it. So let's see. I'll take one more question and then I'm gonna have to hop off. It's time. Been at it for an hour. I thought we were trying to play, so we didn't. That's all. Yeah, that's awesome. Charlie Batch. He's a Steelers GOAT. I'll never forget that Ravens game and his last official start in the NFL. That was amazing to watch. Great human being. Playing with him in high school. I mean, obviously you know him personally. I'd love to have him on the show. I've been in his DMs constantly as well. Yeah, great human being. Big fan of Charlie. I do know he was a big part of Ben's coming up and his career. I was 4 years old, Matt. 4. So it looks like we will cap this live stream of Steelers Nations presented by the 3 Point Stance podcast. Again, we miss our guy D Gray out here. I know we got some amazing things coming out in the next few years. And hold on, Brian. Yes, if you can get Charlie on the show, you add me on Facebook. I'll find you. I'll add you on Facebook, and we will get in touch. But yes, I would love to get Charlie on the show and kind of pick his brain on a whole bunch of things. So I appreciate that if you do try and do that, and we get that ball rolling. That'd be awesome. I really appreciate that. But again, we're going to cap things off. Hopefully, we have a future episode with Charlie Batch, thanks to Brian Davis. Yeah. Hopefully we can get him on the show, have them interject, and go from there. But again, I appreciate everybody that came to watch today, that commented, got to talk to Weslye. Great human. And it was fun having him on. And as always, it was fun being on here, and I can't wait to do this again. So thank you guys, and I will see you next time.